Good evening, Marion County. I guess this would be Election Day Eve, the eve of Election Day Eve. It's Sunday night, May 17th at 7:15. And it's, I'm at the office. I just finished up getting the early voting mess cleaned up. Probably should have been here earlier today, but went to the mass this morning, and then me and a couple of the kids went to the Gorley Trail and got some fresh air. It's always good, but I needed to clean up came in from early voting late last night and needed to get some of that mess cleaned up. So we've got some questions that need to be addressed and kind of give a preview of what the election day is going to look like. And that's not going to happen tomorrow, because tomorrow is setup day. Election day eve I'm sitting here working with, trying to get some help lined up for tomorrow, and thankful for the setup help that we're going to have tomorrow. It's going to be good, but it's going to be a long day. And we're not going to get these questions answered tomorrow night. And election day will be too late, so let's get into it. He just texted back. I'll get that here in a minute. So if you've got a question, let's get into it. And we're going to get into a couple of questions that we ran into. There were 1,271 voters that come through the 3 days of early voting at the Event Center and Sportsplex. And man, were they really very accommodating. It was about an hour into it Thursday morning that I told them, I said, you might just be stuck with us, because that's a good place for early voting. And really thankful for the hospitality that we were shown there. And really thankful for the poll workers. That there were 42 poll workers that contributed to that effort. So it takes a village to run an election, and I'm thankful for each and every one of them. And for the crew here at the office that, I wasn't here but barely Thursday, Friday, or Saturday morning. They ran Saturday morning. We won't be here next Saturday morning because it's Memorial Day weekend. So we'll be open this week, though. But the office will not be open next Saturday morning on the 24th. But the next Saturday is the 31st. So we'll be here on the last Saturday of the month, and that's always a good time to be here. But not on the 24th. That's Memorial Day weekend, and it's going to be a good time to not be here after an election week. So if you got a question, you can call in. We'll answer it. I'm going to get to some of the questions that we had while we were doing early voting. People seeing the ballot. The thing we probably want to start with here is what a primary election really is. A primary election's not, nobody's getting elected. Nobody's getting sworn in after this election. It's a nominating election for the parties. So we had 1,271 people cast their ballot. I don't know how many people that came out that, we'd be in the 1,300s for sure. If the people that came out that were registered as, we might be in the 1,400s. There were a lot of people that came out that are registered independent or other or third party, or had changed their party affiliation between December 31st and coming out to vote, that didn't get to vote because it's a nominating election for the two parties. So there's going to be a Democrat ballot and there's going to be a Republican ballot. So I'm just going to read this here. If not, I'm going to ramble. And a primary is closed to the qualified registered members of the party. And to be qualified, you have to be registered by December 31st in that party and stay registered until the primary. So you can't change your party affiliation between December 31st and the primary, or it'll knock you out of both parties because you weren't registered by December 31st and you didn't stay continuously registered. So you're not eligible in either party's primary. So, and like I say, there's going to be a Democrat ballot and a Republican ballot. Let's get in. Let's just do that. Hold on. I'm not really. What we're going to do here is we're going to go through all your options on election day. That's one of the things we're going to do tonight. But we're also going to look at what the ballots look like, because that's some of the questions that we're getting. Let me bring. Yeah, let's bring that in there. It's a nominating election for the parties. Each party, the Democrat and Republican, are going to have a separate ballot. One of the questions that we're getting is, people not seeing on their ballot what they're expecting to see. Let's pull them all the way up to the top. Let's start with the Republican ballot here. Let's pull that up there. All right, so that's the Republican ballot. That's the things that you're going to see on the Republican ballot. If you're registered as a Republican on December 31st and haven't changed parties in between December 31st and now, these are the items that you're going to find on your ballot for this primary. You're going to find the state senator race. That's, something that's in the news. The U.S. Senate race is going to be something that you've seen in the news, and the congressional first district. You'll see that on your ballot. You'll also see county judge executive, and we're getting a lot of questions about this because in both the U.S. Senate race and in the county judge race, we've got candidates that have withdrawn. In the U.S. Senate race, we're going to have it posted at the polling location that the votes for Nate Morse won't count, and we'll have it posted at the polling location that the votes for Walter Livers won't count. Both of those candidates, one for U.S. Senate and one for County Judge Executive, both of those candidates withdrew after the ballots had been certified and after the machines had been set and after everything was ready to go. So there was no way to take them off of the ballot. So the votes that are made for those two candidates won't be tabulated or reported, according to what I've learned. It's a new one on me, so I had to do some reading up on it and what we need to do. And the first thing that you're going to see at the polling location is, with all the other things we've got posted, will be a notice that those two candidates have withdrew. But they will be on your ballot if you get a Republican ballot, just because that's logistically, there's no way to get them off of the ballot before in the time frame in which they withdrew. So that's something that you'll see. Another question that we're getting, and it kind of ties into the Democrat ballot. Let's pull that up there. This is what you see if you're getting a Democrat ballot. If you've been registered as a Democrat by May 31st and haven't changed your registration, your party affiliation, since December 31st, these are the things that you'll see on your ballot. You'll see the sheriff race, 3 candidates for sheriff. You'll see the jailer race, 2 candidates for jailer. You'll see state senate, 2 candidates for that. You got the state senate on the Republican ballot, and all those candidates, you see them all. There's what, seven candidates on the Republican state senate ballot, and 2 candidates on the Democrat. The Democrats are nominating their person to take to the November election, and the Republicans are nominating their candidate to send to the November election. Well, same with U.S. Senate. There's 7 of those on the Democrat ballot and about 150 on the, no, not that many, Chad. let's see, 5, 7, 9, 11, 12. So not quite, but yeah, more than 7 on the Democrat ballot. But there's a bunch of them on the Republican ballot, and one of them has withdrew, and we will not be tabulating the votes for Nate Morse. But get back to the Democrat ballot, you got your U.S. Senate and your state Senate. If you're in District 3 and 5, you're going to have magistrate races. There's 2 candidates in District 3 on the Democrat ballot and 2 candidates in District 5 on the Democrat ballot. We've had questions out at early voting, people that live in District 3 or District 5 that would like to have weighed in on that contest, but they were registered as a Republican, so they got the Republican ballot. And that's one of the things that you're going to see in a primary election, that you won't necessarily see on your ballot what you were hoping to see. And it all depends on your party affiliation. Some people that live in District 2 were looking for the magistrate race. Both of the candidates that have filed for District 2, one's a Democrat and one's a Republican. So both of those candidates have already received their party nomination. So they're not on either the Democrat ballot or the Republican ballot, but both of the candidates have put out yard signs in District 2, even though neither one of them are on the ballot this time. So there were a lot of voters that were looking for to either vote for Mattingly or Farmer. Those are the 2 candidates in District 2, and neither one of them are on their ballot. They'll both be on there in November. So if you're going in to cast your vote for either Larry Snooks Mattingly or David Farmer, then you'll get that chance in November. Neither one of them are on this year's ballot. These are the only 2 magistrate races on any ballot, District 3 and District 5. Now in District 3, the winner of that contest will have a November contest. The Republican was the only one that filed, so going straight into November. District 5, there was not a Republican that filed, and District 1 and 4 were completely uncontested. So you'll only see that in November. There is a Republican candidate for jailer, but there's only one, so you won't see them on the Republican ballot. You'll see the 2 Democrats. The Democrat Party is nominating their candidate to go to the November general election. And the Democrat Party is nominating their sheriff candidate to go to the November general election. But there were no Republicans that filed for sheriff. So at this point, the sheriff candidate that wins the Democrat primary will be uncontested in November. It is a nominating election. So that's some of the questions that we've been getting during the early voting season and leading up to early voting. Who we vote for and why is that person not on my ballot? And most of it's going to be because of your district or your party affiliation. You can rest assured that I sure hope so, that we've double-checked these ballots. The ballot faces, there's 10 ballot faces that you can get in Marion County. That'll be some combination of these races right here. 10 ballot faces. We've got the first magistrate district, there's the Democrat and Republican ballot for it. The second magistrate district, Democrat and Republican ballot for it. The third magistrate district, Democrat and Republican ballot for them. The fourth magistrate district, Democrat and Republican for them. And the fifth magistrate district, Democrat and Republican. So 10 possible combinations. And it's all going to come off of what? It's going to be some of this action right here. These are all of the candidates that you're going to see on your ballot. So that's a lot of the questions that we've been getting is, I'm an independent. How come I can't vote? Because you're not a part of either one of the two parties that have ballots in this election, because you weren't registered as that party, as a member of that party by December 31st. And you can only vote in one party's primary. There was a couple that come in. One of them was registered with one party, and the other one was registered with the other party, and they didn't get to vote on the same things because one was a Democrat and one was a Republican, and that was just that's the way it is. That's the choice that they made. So when we check you in with your driver's license, be sure to bring your driver's license or your state issued ID when you come in. It makes it super fast. We buzz that barcode on the back and that brings you up. We verify that we get you to tell us your name, your address, and your date of birth. And we get you signed in and joop joop that receipt that comes out, and to make sure that we get you the correct ballot face and get you a ballot. And, most people were voting in, very few minutes, in and out. So I anticipate it to be the same way on Election Day. Give me a little caffeine here. Mountain Dew's going to be my buddy for the next few days. Mountain Dew's kind of my buddy anyway, but it's really going to be my buddy the next few days. Plus, that Gorley Trail just about whooped my butt. If y'all ain't ever been out to the Gorley Trail, out around the reservoir, it was absolutely beautiful today. We really enjoyed it. Our 12-year-old whooped my butt. He finished that thing quick, but I was back there with our 5-year-old and didn't have to pack her today. She was proud of herself. She made it through that Gorley Trail all by herself, and she should be proud of herself. She did a tremendous job. Both of them did a tremendous job, and old fat daddy trying to keep up. But yeah. So that's primary election. If you got any questions about that, feel free to call right now. We'll figure it out right here. But these are the things that you're going to be able to vote for right here. If you're a Republican, those, and we'll have notices about 2 of the candidates, one for Senate and one for County Judge. And there's what you'll see if you're registered as a Democrat. So where do you go vote? Let me see if I can do this. No, we still got more stuff. A lot of component parts to that screen right there. When and where to vote. There was a video that we did of that a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember. Cynthia helped me with it. She did a tremendous job. I tell you, the crew here at the County Clerk Office right now, yeah, it don't get no better. In any county in this state, the crew at the County Clerk Office in Marion County right now, all stars from the top to the bottom, at least maybe not the top, but the people I get the pleasure of working with every day are all stars, and I can't be thankful enough for them. So let's talk about Election Day. See them pinpoints right there? That graphic right there was made by Miss Raylan. She did a tremendous job with it. There's 12 of those pinpoints on that map. All 12 of those are your traditional polling locations in Marion County. We're going to go through each one of them here in just a second. They're going to be open from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. on Election Day. You can vote where you usually vote. But if you don't want to vote where you usually vote, you can vote in any of those 12. If you want to go down to Loretta and hit up the food land and vote while you're down there, you can do it. If you want to, I guess Country Store's gonna be open in Braversville, but if you want to go down to Superior and get you a bologna sandwich or a cheeseburger or one of them Hunt Brothers pizzas, I'm getting hungry now. You can vote down in Braversville. I did a little video up in early voting with Miss Faye Carroll and Miss Jackie that'll be down there, and they done told you, come on down. They're welcoming you down there. Gravel Switch. We're gonna have somebody down there. If you're going to Danville because you need to go update your driver's license or something, or Holy Cross because you need to go to Bardstown to update your driver's license, or if you're going to Columbia to update your driver's license, if you're going out of town, one of those ways, you can stop in Holy Cross or Gravel Switch or at the Coon Hunters Club and get and cast your ballot. It's going to be open. All 12 of them are going to be open to any Marion County voters. So let's look at the 12. There's Gravel Switch Community Center. Will be open from 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. on Election Day. You live in St. Mary's and you want to vote in Gravel Switch? You can do it. Go on up there. They'll be there from 6 to 6. Wonderful group of people in Gravel Switch that will be happy to help you. Bradfordsville at the Civic Center. They'll help you out down there. Wonderful group of people down at the Civic Center. The Marion County Public Library. They'll be in the place that we did early voting in 2024. You'll come in that back door, and it's a great place to vote. It's very accessible, and you can go in there and get you a library card while you're there. They'll be open most of the time. They'll be there from 6 to 6. If you vote at the library, you're going to see some familiar places because we've got all-stars coming back to work that poll. I tell you, we've got the best poll workers, too. You said there was 42 of them that made early voting happen, and we've got, need my list, right near 70 that'll work these 12 polling locations. And a great group of knowledgeable and dedicated public servants. There'll be a good crew up there at Center Square, a good big crew, because we're going to have at the public library and at Center Square, you'll have 2 sign-in stations. So we'll have a little bit bigger crew there, and at the Harrigan Building. It's we didn't do early voting here. People asked why we didn't do early voting until they came and saw if they had ever early voted here or ever voted in this building and then saw how the setup was out at the event center. They knew why we moved, because you're literally signing in the hallway here and voting in the lobby, and it's good and it's nice. And I like having a polling location here because I'm right here all day on election day. And I'm a little bit behind on my election day prep because I generally do some of that while early voting's going on. But, you know, we'll get there. We've got several hours between that now and 6 o'clock on Tuesday morning. But we'll have 2 sign-ins at the Harrigan Building, too. Good place to vote with great people to help you. You can go down to Calvary. This is at the Holy Name of Mary Parish Hall, Calvary Church. We've got most of the regular crew down there this time, and one of them that says if it's an emergency to give them a call. Helped out with early voting, but I tell y'all, election day is a long day for these precinct election officers. They get there at 5 o'clock. They don't get there at 6 o'clock. They get there at 5 o'clock, and they get everything set up that we didn't get set up. But we'll get set up tomorrow. We'll set up as much as we can, but they do a lot of setup when they get there, and they work hard to get it ready to where when you get there at 6 o'clock, they're ready to go for you. And they can't go anywhere until after the polls close. They can't go somewhere to get them some lunch. They can't go, check on the cattle. They can't go, they're there until 6 o'clock that night. And then afterwards, that's when the polls close. And then they've got to do all their reconciliation and get all the results up to us here at the clerk office. So it's a long day, and I have so much admiration for the people that sign up to be our precinct election officers. So much appreciation, admiration, gratitude. But most of your regular crew will be out there at Calvary Church, same at Coon Hunters Club. This is out there off of Campbellsville Highway. It is our southernmost polling location on the Campbellsville Highway. They'll be there from 6 o'clock to 6 a.m., from 6 to 6 on election day. And they'll be ready to serve any Marion County that wants to come out there. So if you're doing business in Campbellsville on election day, stop in there and they can get you taken care of. One of those 10 ballot faces that we were talking about will be available at the Coon Hunters Club, as it will at the VFW. The crew that we got at the VFW, I tell you what, we've got a lot of returning people coming to do our precinct election officers, and a real good group that'll be down at the VFW, and we're very thankful for them and in all of our locations. But if you're accustomed to voting at the VFW, this is off of Main Street, best in between the Miller Brothers and Garrett's Garage, there across from Lebanon Elementary. You go down the hill there and there's the VFW. You look for the tank. We always appreciate them getting us in and having a polling location there. We'll be down at Raywick City Hall on election day. So this is generally a pretty big spot. There's if you look at the map here, let me see if I can pull that map up one more time. It's kind of in the, there's a lot of land around Raywick that, you know, when you're talking about St. Joe and that western part, that southwest portion of the county, a lot of places around Raywick, and they have a busy day there at Raywick and do a tremendous job. And you're going to see some good folks down there in Raywick if you want to go vote down there. Same with Loretta. Loretta's another one that will have 2 sign-ins. Loretto being our second biggest city in Marion County. It's you can go down there to City Hall. You're going to go through, not through that front door, but those doors on the side over there before you get to that overhead door that you see on the screen there. That double door on the side is where you'll go in at, and you're going to see some regulars down there that you come to know and love. They're going to get you in and out as quick as possible. And if I wasn't stuck in this office, I'd like to head down there because they always got the crock pots going. Miss Debbie took a honey bun cake up to early voting. She was up there early, and we snacked on that honey bun cake all weekend at early voting, and it was delicious. So it's always, like I said, they're stuck there all day, so they come prepared, and they've got that kitchen smelling good. They do down at Holy Cross too. I was talking to some of that crew before I come into the office, and they're gonna have some good eats. You know, I should have eaten dinner before I come here because I'm spending about half my time talking about food and not about what's going on election day. But Holy Cross, at the Holy Cross School, you can go there and vote. And last but not least, the 12th one at St. Charles Church, down there this morning with our youngest going to Mass. This is the first place I ever voted. Now, I guess the first place I ever voted was at the school, at St. Charles School. We used to do it in the front of the gym. That was when I was 18, long time ago. But one of the first, we got out of the school so as not to affect their schedule with voting, and have had the churches be very hospitable to us, and we're thankful for that. And you can see that it's very accessible there with the ramp, and you can get right in, park right there beside the door, and a real good crew that'll be down at St. Charles on election day. Get you in and out in a minute. Let's see here. That's all of our polling locations. That's where you can vote on election day. I'm going to look through my questions here. But to give you kind of an idea of where we're at right now, we've between our mail-in and our walk-in absentees, and what we did out at the Sportsplex for early voting, we're at about 10% turnout right now, which is not bad. I think it's we might be ahead of the game a little bit, which is good. But we've got a long ways to go. I'm hoping that we can beat state average here in Marion County. Again, some of the questions that we're getting have to do with who's on my ballot. This is what will be on your ballot if you're registered as a Republican. This is what will be on your ballot if you're registered as a Democrat. You can't get both. I wished we could pick and choose and say, hey, I want to vote in this race on this ballot and this race on that ballot, because I could pick the ones I'd want to do, but I can't. I'm registered, as one party, and I'll vote for the candidates for that party. But that's where we're at. Oh, another question we've been getting. What about results on election night? Hold on, let me go that way. That machine right there, this machine, it's back here locked up in a secure spot in the back of the office. That's the one that our dream team's been putting the mail-in ballots in. Each portion of the election is segregated. That machine only takes mail-in ballots. We've got another machine that's already done its job, and it did the walk-in absentees. 16 votes on that machine. But that was its job. The poll pad, the sign-in, it did that. We had 3 poll pads and ballot printers out at early voting. They've done their job. They won't be used on election day, and the scanner machine that took the 1,271 ballots at early voting, that's one of the things I needed to do tonight, was get it in a secure spot, because when I come in last night, it was secure last night, but it was out. It wasn't as secure when we opened the doors out on the other side of it. It was locked up in the office under camera on the public side of our counter. I wanted to make sure that it was in a good, secure spot for when we open the door in the morning. So it's locked up. None of those machines will get tabulated. They won't be closed out until 6 o'clock on election night. They're going to stay in their secure spots until 6 o'clock on election night, when those 12 polling locations begin tabulating their machines. The County Board of Elections will go back and close out the absentee mail-in, the absentee walk-in, and the early vote machines. And so nobody will know any totals at all from any part of elections until 6 o'clock on election night. And one of the questions has been, when will that be made public? The totals for the night. Well, as the polling locations come in, when they're closing out, we're going to close up those 3 machines, and we'll post those just as soon as we get them closed out. So they'll be posted here. The tally tapes will be posted here. At the same time, all the polling locations are closing out their machines, and they're going to post them at their sites. So if someone had someone at every one of those sites, then they would know pretty quick what the totals were. we won't know those totals until after all of the polling locations get here. And when they're getting here, we're checking paperwork. There's a tremendous amount of paperwork that goes into an election. And God bless our poll workers, because I think I might have actually took a form away this time instead of adding it. I've spent, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 years since the COVID election, elections have gotten more complicated. Let's put it that way. They've always been an ordeal, but the paperwork, I think every year I gave them at least one more form that needed to be double checked and signed and everything else. I think I might have took one away this time. We're trying to make it more efficient, but it's still a bunch. It's a bunch of paperwork. So when they're coming in, we're checking to make sure we got all that paperwork, because they're tired and we're tired, and we want to make sure that we've got it all. That way we don't have to, go chasing it down. Make sure we get all of the V drives is what they're called, where the totals are at, and we run them on a computer that's its only job. It's what's it called, where they're not hooked up to anything. Yeah, that computer lives back in the file room, and it's plugged up to electric, and that's the only thing it's plugged up to. And then we take the V drives out of those machines, put it into that computer, and then there's a special, another special thumb drive kind of thing that we use to take the information off that computer and take it to a computer that we can send to the state. So we're getting all that stuff, and the whole time we're taking copies of the tally tapes, and we're giving them to the media and to the people that are out front, that are here to because it's a public thing. You're gonna probably, I think G&G might be over here again to show the controlled chaos, the mad rush that is when all the polling locations are coming in. We're trying to get the amounts tallied up. So there's going to be people that are going to tell you the total before we tell you the total. I guess that's what I'm rambling on, trying to get to. That's one of the questions I've been getting. When will we know the total? Our official total won't be released until we have it ready to go to the state, because we're going to double check it, and we're going to triple check it, and we're going to make sure that one of them little V drives didn't get forgot. And then I'm going to scratch my head a little bit, and then I'm going to think about it a little bit more, and then we're going to do the numbers one more time to make sure that we, the numbers you're looking for when you're running an election is how many people come to vote, how many people signed in as a voter. All right, at the polling location for early voting, we had 1,271 people sign in to the 3 poll pads. The number we want to make sure matches is how many ballots were cast, how many people signed in, how many ballots were cast. You want to make sure that those numbers match. And if you don't, where's that discrepancy at? Did someone get issued a ballot and then walk out the door with the ballot because they didn't have the person on there that they wanted to vote for? That happens. Did somebody get issued the ballot and then tear it up because they wanted to vote on one party's ballot, but they're registered as another party? That happens. But, we got to be able to explain where that discrepancy is. We want those 2 numbers to match exactly. And that's what after we get, we got 12 polling locations, we got 2 absentee type machines, and we've got the early voting machine. We want to make sure that all those numbers match. And then we'll be ready to release the totals. And I don't know what time that'll be on Tuesday night. It'll be when we get her done. And the last election, we weren't doing this kind of thing where we were, on here. So I don't know if we'll just make I don't know how we're going to do it, to be honest with you. Probably not going to be a video, because I get a little long-winded on these videos. And on election night, It's going to be a long day already, but as soon as we're done and we get the results sent to the state, some other amazing volunteers, some other amazing people that make this process happen are going to pull up and pick me up, and we're going to start heading out in the county and picking up all of everything else. We're going to get it all back home that night, down in the basement, locked up under camera, so that, you know, so that it's here, so that it's secure. And that's going to be priority number one. But I generally send it to the media, and I'll probably do something on here. At least make some kind of post about what the numbers look like before I can do that from my phone. Maybe I don't know. We'll find out. Stay tuned. That'll be what we do on Tuesday night. That'll be the next time you hear from me, probably. I know y'all about tired of hearing from me. We did we wanted to push that early voting, and I appreciate y'all's patience with me sending different posts out and videos and pictures and trying to get everybody to come out. We want a high turnout. We talk about the cost of government. Elections cost your county government. The state bears a small portion of what it costs to put on an election. Your Marion County Fiscal Court and your County Clerk Office bears the brunt of the expense to put on an election. And it costs pretty much the same whether 10% show up to vote, or 20% show up to vote, or 30% show up to vote, or 50% show up to vote. It pretty much costs the same. The more people that show up, the cost per vote goes down. So yeah, we were pushing early voting. We're on here right now pushing election day voting. We want you to make your voice heard. We want you to, there is no incentive at all for us to, we want you to vote. I want to, we're going to put polling locations in every corner of the county so that it's convenient for you to vote. We're going to make it to where you can vote in any of those polling locations so it's convenient for you to vote. We're going to have 3 days of 12 hours of voting. If you've got ideas on how to make it more convenient, we want to hear them, because we want you to vote. We want to make it possible for you. And that's what we're going to do on Tuesday, to the best of our ability. I'll say a little prayer that everything goes good. We're dealing with equipment and computers and amazing people that don't use that equipment every day. You know, I mean, they were trained in 2 hours 2 weeks ago, and you know, it's hard to troubleshoot equipment that you don't use every day. So be patient with us if we have any, we ask that you be patient if we have any technical issues. And I'll say a prayer that we don't, because there ain't nothing better than an election day that just goes smooth. That's the way we like them. So if nobody's got any questions other than the ones we talked about, these are what your ballots look like, or these are the things that are on your ballot if you're a Republican. These are the things that's on your ballot if you're a Democrat. You can only vote in one. Voter can only vote in one party's primary. I look forward to seeing y'all on Tuesday. And I'll see some of you, One of the best parts about elections is getting to see every corner of this county. And tomorrow is one of my favorite days of the year. I get to see all the beautiful places that we have in this county. And I look forward to it. If you have any questions, give us a call here at the County Clerk Office. We're going to try to answer them to the best of our ability. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to give you a little shot of this Marion County flag, because it don't get no more beautiful than that. There it is, right there. Y'all have a great night. And let's vote, Marion County, one time.